Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Now, as you've already seen, me and Connor did an overrated 11 of Premier League players. We're going to be nicer to some players today and do an underrated 11. Hopefully this one will be more received. We're on the road to 10k subscribers, guys, so don't forget to keep subscribing, liking the videos, sharing them about. It means a lot. So without further ado, we're going to start. I'm playing a 4-3-3 formation, and big disclaimer, this is my opinion. If you have any opinions of any players you think are underrated, leave them in the comments down below. Right, the goalkeeper. I've gone with Stefan Ortega of Man City. I do think he has got the talent to be a number one elsewhere in the Premier League. He's a very reliable number two, and he was going to be given the number one gloves if Ederson was going to leave. Normally when a number two comes in, you're not confident, but when I've watched Ortega play, he just looks brilliant. And like I said, I think he deserves to be a number one somewhere, personally. But, yeah, I mean, it shows confidence in your ability that Moneybags Man City weren't just going to replace the number one goalkeeper, they was going to promote you. Maybe it says a lot about Man City's new strategy, I don't know, but to me, it's a big vote of confidence. So, my number one in the underrated 11 is Stefan Ortega. On to right back now. Another Man City player, it's Rico Lewis. He's only 19, and he plays so well for Man City. He can play centre mid, right back, defensive mid, and he's been playing regularly in that defensive midfielder role. And now that Rodri's out injured, this could be his chance to really shine. He's been called up to England as well. The pundits love him. Maybe it's a little bit of English hype, because I know we mentioned that in the last video. But considering his age, considering his versatility, and the team he plays in, you can't help but rate it. And I think he will be fairly rated in seasons to come. Right, on to the first of two centre-backs. I've gone Murillo of Nottingham Forest. To me, he's a brilliant hybrid defender. I mean, he can play out from the back. I've seen him make runs from out the back. Can play really good balls from the back. And he can put in tackles. And he's still got that old-fashioned defender in him where he's not afraid to put his body on the line. He's an absolute warrior for Forest. And I do think he's their best defender. Nottingham Forest fans, let me know if you agree. But yeah, I just think he's been brilliant whenever I've seen him. Like, he's just strong. Like I said, he can play out the back. His vision, his tackling, it's just brilliant. And this is why Nottingham Forest are doing so well. Right, on to the second centre-back. I've gone Ezri Konsa. Reliable, versatile. He can play out right as a right-back. And he was given limited minutes for England, but he played well in those limited minutes. I think he done really well. And I do think he could play more for England as well. If we get any injuries, he's just reliable. I don't think I've ever seen that man make a mistake, personally. Villa fans, let me know if, this is right, or am I being too kind? But yeah, Ezri Konsa is just that reliable English defender. And he's been with Villa a while, and as they've upgraded, he's still there and he's still playing. So to me, that also says a lot. Right, on to the left back. A Villa teammate of his, Luca Digne. Now, I know you're going to say, Digne's a big name, but hear me out. This is why I think he's underrated. So he was labelled a flop at Barcelona and Everton. People were saying he's got an attitude problem. He's not very good defensively. You can say that for a lot of left backs now, but obviously he went to Villa. Moreno was brought in to replace him. He's now been loaned out. And Digne also keeps Maatsen out of starting 11. To me, that's underrated. Like, you've gone from being a flop at Everton to now being Villa's starting left back. And obviously we know how good Villa are now, so that's really saying a lot. Maybe Maatsen's been brought in to be his replacement in the future, because Digne isn't young, but I just think he's changed his career around, and for me that's underrated. Aston Villa fans, let me know what you think of that. The way he's just turned his career around for me is really underrated. Right, on to the midfield now. My first midfielder is Wilfred Ndidi. He's been ever present for Leicester, really, ever since they signed him. He stayed in the Championship, and he stayed despite transfer offers when he was getting all the hype. That included offers from Manchester United. And that loyalty alone is underrated, because he was getting, big offers. Like I said, Man United were one of them. And he decided to stay in the Championship. And I've got to rate that, to be fair. And this season, he's got the same amount of assists as Salah and Palmer. So it says a lot about the man's passing ability. He was originally that just number 6 who stays back, wins the tackles, but now he's adding assists into his game. And to be on the same level as Salah and Palmer, the way they're playing this season, you've got to give the man his plaudits, personally. On to the next midfielder. Got one of my boys, Thomas Souček. Now, I'll try not to rant too much, but I mentioned in the overrated 11 video, he gets a lot of unfair criticism, and I'm sticking with that. He does. I mean, he's just been crucial for us since he signed, really. I mean, he's scored crucial goals, he's put in good performances, and I don't think he should be getting the criticism he gets. He's just a solid, hard-battling Premier League midfielder. There's been a few games he's bailed us out. He's done more than a lot of players have for this club. And for that reason, maybe it's overhated, but I just think he's underrated. And I think him and Paqueta get the roles mixed up. Thomas Souček should not be getting the criticism he gets. I think that should be labelled at Paqueta for reasons I said in the overrated 11 video. If you haven't seen that, go and check it out. But yeah, Thomas Souček for me is one of my favourite players at the club, just because he literally puts his all in for the badge, and you just got to respect that. Right, on to the last midfielder now. I've gone with Pape Sarr of Spurs. A couple seasons ago, he was just that reserve midfielder who was getting limited minutes. Postecoglou comes in, gives him a chance, and he just absolutely took it. He's just everywhere whenever I watch him play. He's a brilliant defender, can even score decent goals as well. I just think for how he was just chucked into the starting 11 and he just made that place his own, that says a lot about his character for me, and I think he's very underrated. Brilliant young midfielder. Obviously, he was meant to be transferred out of Tottenham, obviously. The Tottenham fans, let me know if I got that correct. But yeah, he just came in and made the midfield his. So I'm happy for him, and I just enjoy watching him play. I think he's a very good midfielder. On to the attack now. Right wing. I know I'm going to get comments of recency bias, but I've gone Brennan Johnson. Not just for his 4-game goal run, but just in general. I think he's very fast, he's very direct, he's a brilliant Premier League winger. And people forget that it was him and Gibbs White that kept Nottingham Forest up when they played for him. I mean, he's quite young as well, Brennan Johnson, to be doing what he's doing. I mean, he had a lot of pressure on him at Nottingham Forest to keep him up, and he done that. And he's just evolving game by game for me. I mean, he's adding goals to his game, like obviously recently the 4-game run. He's just so good. I really enjoy watching him as a player. It's a shame he plays for Tottenham. But yeah, I just think he's a really good player. I just really like him. Brennan Johnson doesn't get the ratings he deserves. Right, on to the other wing now, the left wing. I've gone with Johan Visser. I love watching this guy play. He's a brilliant dribbler. He's a brilliant finisher. He's so athletic as well. Like some of the goals he scored for Brentford, it's actually insane. The link up with Mbeumo is underrated in general. I think they are a really good Premier League duo. Fixed the gap that Tony's left in his absences. You know, when he was banned, now he's left. People were saying, Brentford aren't going to cope, they're going to go down. Obviously, their striker that they signed is out for quite a while, I think till December. And Brentford just look like they're fine. They're fine with it. And that is because of Mbeumo and Visser. And I love watching Visser play. I love watching him run. And yeah, I think he's going to be one of Brentford's key players this season. On to the striker. I was going to put John Duran. I was very close to putting John Duran. But the media plaudits he's getting now, especially on social media, people are realising his ability. And I'm so annoyed West Ham didn't get that signing done, because every goal he scores makes me that little bit more sadder each time. But for my striker, it's a bit out there, but I've looked at his stats. Hear me out. I've looked at his stats, and I've gone Chris Wood. I know I'm going to get comments and a few, he's a rubbish striker, he's just tall. Hear me out. These are some of his stats, right? He was in the Premier League for 5 seasons with Burnley, and in 4 out of those 5 seasons, these were his goals returns. 10, 10, 14 and 12. Chris Wood is that striker that mid-Premier League clubs need, like a Forest. They want to stay up, they want to strive on. You need that player that's going to get you 10 to 15 goals, which Chris Wood does. Last season, he got 14 for Forest, including a hat-trick, against Newcastle, where, admittedly, he flopped at. But the goal returns says it for itself, and he's got 3 and 5 currently. For me, that's very underrated. I think he's very Prem ready. He's proved that here with the stats. You know, he's 6'3", he's tall, his hold-up play's good, he's a good penalty taker. And I just think a lot of teams can do a lot worse than Chris Wood. I've called him crap a couple of times, I think we have on this channel. But yeah, I just think he's underrated. I saw some of the stats today, and I was actually impressed with some of his goal returns. Obviously, he's not a title-winning striker. He's not a Haaland. He's not a Salah. He's not one of the top strikers, but he does the job. He gets a few double-figure returns each season, and I think he'll do it again this season. So that is my underrated Premier League 11. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, guys. Put your own 11s. See if I've, been too nice or if I've overrated some players. But yeah, don't forget to like, share and subscribe because we're on the road to 10k as I mentioned. We're getting really close to that now. And yeah, I'll catch you next one, guys. See you later.